Well, I mean, feel fine.
It's not majorly disappointing or anything like that?
No. I mean, you're disappointed. You want to get out there and play and perform, but at the same time, you just got to be realistic and and go from there.
So when did you realize this was the likely outcome for this season?
Yesterday, probably.
What was it that made you realize that?
I think just talking with the staff and just the amount of time that we're looking at in terms of being able to get as healthy as possible and then get in shape so that you don't come back and get hurt again. By the time that's ready to go, I mean, you're looking at a week left in the season or whatever the case may be, and it didn't really seem worth it.
How has the knee responded since December 17th? Have you made strides towards getting back, or is there still a long way to go?
I mean, it feels all right. I mean, it's still a ways to go. Not as far as it was. Last time I spoke to you guys. I've stepped up the intensity a little bit and just start moving from the bike to doing some elliptical. Looking to do the treadmill a little bit probably in a week or so. And just continue to go from there.
Does this change your progression in terms of what you were initially planning on doing in rehab?
No, not really. I mean, you stick to the same schedule. You just continue to try to ramp up, and now I find myself looking at really a 7-month training program. And just doing everything I can to get my body ready and be 100%. And and I have 7 months to do that, so feel pretty good about it.
Obviously, this team's going to miss the playoffs, but how important was it for you to try to come back, squeeze in some games, and know what to work on during the offseason?
I've been doing it for long enough. I think I know what I need to work on without having to squeeze in a few games. The biggest part at this stage of your career is really just body maintenance and doing whatever you can to get the body strong enough and healthy enough so that the little knick-knack injuries don't bother you for the next season. So, when you have 7 months to prepare, you get a chance to really ramp things up quite a bit and put a significant amount of load on your body, and then you can see how your body reacts, and then you can adjust to it, right? So you get a chance to kind of mimic the workload that you're going to be facing in the upcoming season, which during a regular summer of 2 months or 3 months of training you can't do.
Kobe, at an event that I was recently at for Nike for you were talking about how next season you want to come back with revenge against the doubters. Who are you talking about when you're talking about that?
Oh, well, I suppose just name names. I guess I can name names of every TV anchor and sportscaster and competitor that's ever said something that was that I view as being a challenge, but it's a long list. So what you have to do is you have to take all that, accept it, understand where everybody's coming from, and now you take it as a challenge, and and you go out there and you do what you do.
From a mental perspective, as somebody who's typically come back from injury, early, usually, or at the very least, like when it's been projected, what's it been like for you not to be, able to come back early the way you're used to?
I mean, it's different, but I'm pretty good about being real and just where you are. That's just what it is, and you just deal with it. You know what I mean? And I've been pretty good about that. I did that with the Achilles, and the knee in comparison to that is absolutely nothing. So it's been fun. It hasn't been too difficult.
So when you look at next season, this team has a lot of financial flexibility, and there'll be a lot of changes presumably. What do you think is possible as far as being a playoff team next year?
Well, I think we have to start at the top in terms of the culture of of our team. What kind of culture do we want to have? What kind of system do we want to have? How do we want to play? And it starts there, and then from there you can start building out your team accordingly.
Kobe, with a season like this, where you've only played in 6 games this season, and you see the record, you see the team, is this something where you kind of distance yourself from a season like this because it was such a struggle, or do you still feel like you were really a part of this type of season?
No, I mean, I feel like killing everybody every time I go to the arena. I mean, I'm just on edge all the time. So to answer your question, yeah, I still, I feel it. Probably more than anybody, in the organization does. I probably feel it more, and it drives me absolutely crazy.
When you talk about establishing the culture and how that starts at the top, are you satisfied with where that is now in terms of the culture and the way you play?
No, I mean, I cannot be satisfied with it. I mean, we're like 100 games under 500. I can't be satisfied with that at all. I mean, this is not what we stand for. This is not what we play for. And it's, a lot of times it's hard to understand that message if you're not, if a diehard Laker fan, it's hard to really understand, where we're coming from, where we're used to, where we're accustomed to, which is playing for championships, or everything else is a complete failure. But that's just how it is. That's how it was explained to me by, Jerry and all the other great Lakers who have played here, and that's how I grew up thinking. So I mean, that's just how it is.
So when you say the top, what are you referring to?
Well, you got to start with Jim. You got to start with Jim and Jeannie, and how that relationship plays out. I mean, it starts there and having clear direction and clear authority, and then it goes down to the coaching staff and what's Mike going to do, what they want to do with Mike, and then it goes from there. But it's got to start at the top.
What would you like to see? What moves would you like to see those individuals make?
Well, I can't really comment too much on that. I just want to get a phone call when somebody gets traded before. Let's start there first. Let's start there.
Kobe, that game in Memphis, you said you were starting to feel good again. You were playing against Tony Allen. The jumper was coming back, and so the Achilles had made a lot of progress. Mm-hmm. Where do you think you can be now with you mentioned the 7 months, adding in that fact with the knee expecting to fully heal?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say, I'll be back at the top of my game, because, everybody's going to think I'm crazy and it's the old player not letting go sort of thing, but that's what it's going to be. I mean,
Kobe, when you look at this summer and potential players available, not to comment on any specific player, but then maybe the following summer, a different pool available, do you have the patience if
no.
It takes a year to
no.
get there?
No. Nope, not one lick.
So I guess your priority would be to go in all in this summer, regardless of how the future could be.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, let's just play next year. Let's just suck again. And no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's my job to go out there on the court and perform. No excuses for it, right? You got to get things done. Same thing with the front office. The same expectations they have of me when I perform on the court. It's the same expectations I have for them up there. So, you got to be able to figure out a way to do both.
Along the lines of culture and the way teams can establish culture, what's your reaction and thoughts to seeing Phil possibly going over to the Knicks?
Well, I mean, how I feel about Phil. I mean, I have so much admiration for him and respect, and have a great relationship with him. So, I personally, it'd be hard for me to understand, that happening twice. You know what I mean? It'd be tough. I don't really get it.
We didn't get to talk to you after the Lakers-Clippers game, which happened to be the worst loss in franchise history and against the Clippers. What was your reaction when that was happening?
Now I know what it feels like to be a Clipper fan all those years. That was my reaction.
Watching Steve Nash struggle last year and this year with one injury that he never saw coming, is there any part of you that has self-doubt that maybe your body is breaking down?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's part of the challenge, right? You always have those question marks. You step into a big game, you don't know if you're going to shoot the ball well. You don't know if you're going to play well, right? You have those concerns, right? And you meet those challenges, and I think having those concerns just drives you that much more to make sure that doesn't happen. So the self-doubt is there. It's always been there, and I think it's really what we do about that self-doubt. You can let it kind of dominate you, or you can choose to face it and take it head on.
Leading up to the decision yesterday, had you been able to do any on-court stuff, or really that was...
No, I haven't been on the court at all.